Hey, gun knot people, bunch of knot heads. Hey, we're gonna do some knots. We're gonna do the double overhand. There's my boys out there. I gave them a little hay this morning, but Mr. T, why are you scratching your face, boy? They already had their little hay breakfast, but usually when I come out the garage, they're like, oh, he's gonna get our grain. So they usually huddle out there and wait for the little grain. But anyway, we'll they can just listen to the little knot video here. So, what knot are we going to do today? We are going to do, it's commonly called, some people will call it the fisherman's knot. I think probably the technical term that most would be the double overhand, or it's called a stopper knot. It's also used for joining ropes. A stopper knot is a knot that stops a knot from coming undone. So if I do a little quick slip knot here, if this is a slip knot, this will just pull right through. So if I want to put a stopper knot here, I put something so this end won't go through. If you remember when we did the bowline with the Yosemite finish, we kind of made a stopper knot and we rolled it back around. I got my glasses on. Shit. I was outside, the sun's out, it's bright. So if this is a stopper knot, what I could do here is I could do just a single overhand, and I usually use this knot a lot. It's a little slip knot, and I just do a little overhand knot here, and now when this slip knot pulls up, it locks the knot up. And now I have a little slip knot that won't come undone. So I use this for just a quick knot because it comes undone easy, and I just undo this knot and then it just slips out in my slip knot. So if I want to just make some sort of loop real quick, that's the knot I'll do. Again, it's just a simple slip knot that will come on through unless I put a stopper knot. The stopper knot, on this one, I just use a single overhand. And we already went over the overhand knot. And then that slides up and locks that knot up so it doesn't run through. And then I just have a quick little loop. That, again, come on easy. If I pull on this hand, it tightens it. If I pull on this rope, it loosens it. Tightens it, loosens it. And then I can just untie it. So the stopper knot we're doing today is called a double overhand. I just did a single overhand. This one is called a double overhand or a fisherman, double fisherman's knot. Hi, Moki. Moki went and laid down. So in this knot, some people will use a finger, a thumb or a finger, and you wrap it around the rope. I usually just do one loop, and on the second loop, you see that X? The second loop, you just run the line through this X right here. So there's a little X that it creates, and then you run the line underneath that X, and then that is called a double overhand or a fisherman or a stopper knot for most ropes. You don't want to use a single overhand when you're rappelling because your life depends on it. So you use a double overhand. And I will try to do that again with a different rope so you can see it better. Let's see what's a good rope. I got all these damn ropes over here. Let me use this one. So I'm going to do a double overhand on this rope. I'm going to go over once, over, see that X I just created? I'm coming around here and I have an X right there. And then I'm going to pull right underneath that X. I want my tail to go right under that X. And that is called a double overhand or a stopper knot because it'll slide up to your knot and stop you. Now, a lot of uses for this. A lot of people talk about the hangman's noose. Show us a hangman noose. Well, this stopper knot is kind of a quick hangman's noose if you want to hang somebody or hang something up or hang, make a garage door puller or something. The stopper knot is a good knot. So if I wanted to make, using the stopper knot, the double overhand, I simply take a bite, terms, bite. I'm going to do me a stopper knot right here. So I'm going to come over twice and then go through the X on my stopper knot. Goes through, make it a little bit longer there. There's my X right there. I'm going to bring it on through and go up through the X. There's my double overhand stopper knot. And now I have a noose. And this noose will work like any other noose. And it won't come undone. If you want to cinch something down real quick, you do your double overhand onto a loop. Comes undone easy, tightens up easy. Very easy to hang a bucket or something, and then you have a, the hangman's noose without the noose, without the negative connotation, whatever. So that's a double overhand. Now, the reason this knot is so versatile and it slides so much and it's used a lot in climbing and rappelling is if I do a double overhand, or they call it a double fisherman's knot, some people call it fishing knots, I will get what I tied here, and it's used for connecting two ropes. Now remember, when you connect two ropes, technically it's not a knot, it's a bend. This is a bite. When you connect two ropes, it's a bend. When I connect something to another object, it's called a hitch. So this is two double overhand knots right here, and I've connected them to where when you pull them together, they lock up and they create a great way to connect two ropes. Very, very strong. Now I'm going to tie that knot with my blue one here. So I've already made a loop here. So I'm going to untie my double overhand. Had to get a little gel. So I have a loop with two pieces of rope, and I want to connect these two pieces of rope. So I take one rope and I tie a double overhand, flipping it over, making my X. See my little X there? Kind of almost looks like a little figure 8 in there, but I just want to go under the X. And now I have one double overhand. Now I'm going to take the loose end on the other end, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do a double overhand on this side. Cross over. There's my X. See that X right there? See the X? I'm going under the X. And now I have a double overhand there, and when you pull these two double overhands, they lock up and they make a very good connection on a rope. And I can do a lot of things with this loop if I need a loop, or if I have two ropes and I need a longer distance, I can connect them this way and make my rope longer. Double overhand, very good. This is called a double fisherman. Sometimes they'll, or also another name that they call it a lot is called a barrel knot, because it looks like a barrel. They call it a barrel knot. Connect those ropes with a barrel knot. This is what they'll be talking about. Hear a dog barking out there. Make sure nothing's chasing my boys. Now, because this is a stopper knot, and it's used a lot as a stopper knot, let's go over to show you how to finish a knot. So let's tie a quick little bowline. We already did that. Make our loop, our overhand loop. Rabbit comes up the hole, around, and down. Okay? So we're going to make this one really long. There's our loop, overhand loop. Rabbit comes up the hole, around the tree, and down the hole. And we have our bowline. Buddy, you leave him alone. I'm going to beat your butt. My young horse is picking on the old horse. You're going to be in big trouble. Kick his butt, Mr. T. So now I have this loop here. And with this loop, remember how I showed when this knot does this, the tail will shrink, this tail will end up shrinking? Well, to stop that, what we were doing is we were wrapping this around and putting this through the Yosemite finish and pulling up the back. That was kind of a stopper knot. Now we're going to use this stopper knot, which is a double overhand. And again, some people will just put their thumb here to do this, and they will wrap it around their thumb and create that X. And then once you get the X, oh, hang on, let me try to get this in camera here. So you wrap it around and you get the X. Once you get the X, you pull this through the X and you pull your thumb out. I should have had a longer rope. Ah. All right, now we got a longer rope. So we got our bowline. I'm gonna put my thumb here. I'm gonna take this loose end. I'm gonna wrap it around my thumb. Create that X. I'm gonna run this up through the X, basically in place of my thumb. Pull my thumb out. I still have my X. Putting this through the X. I have a double overhand now. And now, if this bowline slips, it will pull this double overhand here and it will stop it from slipping. And that's why it's commonly called a stopper knot, because it stops the rope or tail from slipping up and becoming smaller. So a lot of safety sallies will use stopper knots on everything. Some idiots will put 2 stopper knots. Put a double stopper knot on there. I want this really secure. The knot's probably going to break before this stopper knot will go through this bowline. But that's one way. Now, same way on if I wanted to tie, when I get into the Ranger seat and the Swiss seat for rappelling and making a quick rope, they will put stopper knots on that. Normally at the end, if you've done a square knot, you know, a simple square knot we haven't really gone over yet, but a square knot looks like that. Looks like 2 knots, pretty secure. We would put a stopper knot here on this side, double cross with the X, come through. So now my square knot can't slip out on this side because I have a stopper knot here. Then we would turn it to the other side and we'll put another stopper knot here. Well, I screwed that one up. That's why it's nice to be able to visually inspect your knots so you can tell if you're tying them correctly by giving them a quick look. Okay, so there's my stopper knot there. So now I have a square knot with a stopper knot on each end, so my square knot cannot slip. And a lot of people will finish off their Swiss seats or their Ranger seats with a couple safety knots. I'm going to show you why you don't really need these, but you can do whatever you want. I'm not telling anybody not to be safe. I'll have somebody come here crying. So that is the double overhand stopper knot. If you put together, it's called a double fisherman to connect 2 ropes, or it can be called the barrel knot. That's why if you don't understand the terminology you're tying, as long as you understand the knot, what it looks like and what its purpose is. How strong is it? What are you preventing? Another good one is, and I just put this one real quick for a D-ring, this is a double overhand. This is called sometimes an anchor knot. Now there is an anchor knot, and I'll get that in when I do the video on connecting to a D-ring for just a stop. So this is a double overhand that I've simply looped around here, and now when I pull it, it secures me. So if I want to secure to a D-ring, I just do a double overhand, it slides down, it connects. There's also a bunt line and I think an anchor hitch that we can do also on a D-ring. And just a real quick one, we won't go over it. But let's say I want to connect a D-ring, I put my loop through here, and I want to secure it. I'm going to just pull out enough rope, put me a little double overhand fisherman's knot, the safety knot, the stopper knot. And of course I want to get my tail good and long. I'm doing these tails short here. And then when I cinch it down, that's going to secure me to this D-ring. Of course I'd want a tail at least palm length. On all your knots you want this tail to be at least palm length, 4 to 6 inches. But I can hook this in here and I'm pretty secure. I can hang, I can lift things, I can do whatever I need to do on this. If I want it on the other side, I can move it to the other side to where I can clip at the bottom. Some people like to clip at the bottom so they think gravity will hold the lock down. It's harder for the lock to come unspin if it's going up versus down. But whatever, however you want to do it. That's one of the knots. There's also a bunt line, which is basically a clove hitch, which we haven't done yet. And I might do that video next. So let's end that with the double overhand, the barrel knot, double fisherman's knot, barrel knot connecting 2 roots, also called a stopper knot because it stops the tail from backing through and you're not untying. Basically, it's a safety knot to prevent this. I've seen some people, if they tie a knot and they're going to leave it, to do a stopper knot here a little bit just so this tail isn't flapping. It really doesn't give a lot of security, but it will give some, is they'll just put some tape around here. You can duct tape this in here and this holds it right here. And then that will give you somewhat of a stopper. You can put duct tape after your stopper knot if you want to be really safe. And I'll just get this tail out of the way, I'll duct tape it, now it becomes part of the rope. I tape that right on, I don't have that rope flapping. It gives me a little extra security so my stopper knot doesn't come untied. And then if my stopper knot comes untied, then my regular knot comes untied. So you can really go overboard with the safety stuff, and some people do, and to each their own. Double overhand, stopper, barrel, connecting two ropes, locking up on a D-ring. Lots of different things, uses for that. Another way to connect to a D-ring right there is, I think it's called the, is that the girth hitch? It's hard to tell. Let me see if I can get over there. There we go. Now you can see it without the little tail in there. If I'm on camera, shit. I don't even know if I was in camera. So, girth hitch is another way to connect. It's not really secure. And the problem with the girth hitch is it moves too easy. It lets it go. This isn't what's considered a good locker knot. The double overhand I just showed you will stop this from happening. Because sometimes you don't want your D-ring to slide sideways, and now we're on the minor axis. Remember, you lose 2/3 of the strength of this D-ring. So if this D-ring will hold 3,000 pounds, if I try to put weight here, it's only going to hold 1,000 pounds, is the braking strength. So you really, really weaken it. You want it on this major axis. You want the force here and here, not here and here. And I think we talked about that before. Anyway, all right, we'll end that there, and maybe I'll do another one on the connecting bunt line, anchor, and double knot.